If you are on Dave Walden's email list and you know this man thinks about liberty constantly, I would love to hear how he speaks about liberty. Dave Walden, Liberty's Leadership, Dave Walden.
Thank you, Madam.
I'm on it this time.
In my 70 years, I've discovered that we each have far more in common than none. Yet we frequently allow what we do not share in common to rise to dominate what we do. It was years after my dissolution of marriage to my practice wife that I met my current wife. She came from a wonderful family, a family totally different than the one I was raised in. A loving, caring, wonderful family, representative of everything you think about when you think of family. However, she had fallen from grace. She had decided that she needed to dissolve her practice marriage. And when the family patriarch decided that he needed to intervene and could not convince her otherwise, she fell from grace in the family. So at the point of my asking her to marry me, she and her family had literally hardly spoken a few words for years. Her daughter had hardly known her grandparents. When she informed her family that she was marrying again, her father contacted her and had one question. Is he a man of God? To which Julie reluctantly replied, no, he is not. Not only had she now fallen from grace, but the very devil had inhabited her soul. Now, fast forward. We were married for a couple of years. The strained relationship in the family continued with minor tweaking. Julie got an offer for a promotion. I had retired from IBM's. I hired someone to run my business for me. We moved to Maryland, less than 10 miles from her mother and father. Been there about a month. I would put Jesse on the school bus every morning, work on the house, run my business from afar. And I got to thinking, this has been going on now for 5 or 6 years. Maybe I can do something about this. So I impromptu contacted her father. I said, hi, I'm aware of the situation. I know what's going on. Julie's explained it to me. I'd like to come over and talk to you and Mary, and maybe we can make some progress and work on this. I mean, this just seems silly to me because this family was something I admired from what Julie told me about and what I knew, because it was so in contradistinction from my family. So he says, what'd you have in mind? Well, I'd like to come over someday after Jesse goes to school and, let's just talk. When would you like to come? Well, how about Wednesday next week? That'll be fine. How about 9 o'clock? I said, I'll be there at 9. So I head on over. Door opens, perfunctorily invite me into the kitchen. We sit down at the kitchen table. Family patriarch is at this end. I'm here. His wife is here. He's puffing on his pipe. Now, I don't know what I expected, how this would get underway. But he puts the pipe down in the ashtray, leans across the table toward me and says, quote, David, isn't it a bit arrogant to believe that you're the greatest thing in the universe? There is nothing superior to you? That all of this wondrous place just happened and came about, and you're its greatest manifestation? Well, I was somewhat speechless. And so I sat there for a minute, and I took a drink of my coffee, and I set it down. He had leaned back in his chair with his pipe, and I leaned across the table to him. And I said, Van, you know, we all have the same questions. I wonder what this place is, where it came from, how it came to be. I wonder how I got here. Is there something I ought to be doing that I'm not doing? Is something that I'm doing I shouldn't be doing? It seems to me, Van, we all have these same questions. It's part of our humanity. It makes us human. Now, in response to these questions, along comes someone such as yourself. And you say to me, David, I know where it came from. I know what caused it, who caused it. I know what he wants you to do, and I know what he wants me to do. And I know what's going to happen to you and me if we don't do it. I said, Van, it seems to me that you ought to question your definition of arrogance, and who in this case is being more so. Well, you could have heard a pin drop. Mary got up and left. She couldn't stand it. She left the table. Now, I recite this story for a reason. That was 21 years ago. I've been married to the most wonderful woman I've ever known for 21 years. Her father and I are closer than we ever would have imagined we'd be. We don't agree, but we have come to recognize that which we have in common is far more important than what we do not share. Now, I cite this story for the following reason. The liberty movement is fractured. Its greatest manifestation, despite what the libertarians will say, is the Republican Party, and it's fractured. However, at freedom's base is the concept of individual rights. Now, whether you believe that those rights come from God, as perhaps most on the right or many on the right believe, or you believe that those rights come from the Creator, as Jefferson so marvelously penned, or you believe those rights come from reality, the nature of human beings and existence, as Ayn Rand so powerfully wrote. The bottom line is that uniting principle, that which we share in common, a recognition and respect for individual rights, ought to unite the Republican Party regardless of from whence those rights are thought to come. Because at the bottom line, and as my relationship to my wonderful father-in-law testifies to, we have far, far, far more in common than not.